Hello, good morning students. Today we are going to take the new concept, that is losses of pre-stress. So in the last class we are discussed about the analysis of the pre-stress. So in the analysis of the pre-stress we are taken the lot of concepts. So this is one of the continuity of the analysis of the pre-stress. So in the last model, that is in the last concepts, we are studied about the how to analyze a pre-stressor concrete structure. Okay, so in that, how to calculate the different stresses, and finally we are analyzing the pre-stress. Okay, so today we are going to take the losses of pre-stress. So first we should know that what is the meaning of loss of pre-stress. So the name itself indicates it is a loss, because we are going to apply a force, but the 100% loss of 100% the force will not be resulted in the structure. Somewhat will be lost due to the various causes. Okay, so in this concept we are going to take the different losses of pre-stress. Okay, so here totally we have 6 types of the losses. So first of all, the pre-stressing force in the cable reduces due to the various reasons. That is, the reduction of pre-stress is known as loss of pre-stress. So the reduction of stress in the steel, okay, so that is the reduction of pre-stress is known as the loss of pre-stress. So where it take place, that the loss of pre-stress will be take place in the steel material, that is not in the concrete, that we know already in the analysis of the pre-stress. So that's why the reduction of the pre-stress is known as a losses of pre-stress. In the losses of pre-stress we have various types, that is 6 types of losses of pre-stress. So the first one is loss due to elastic shortening. Next, second one, loss due to creep of concrete. And third one, the shrinkage of concrete. And the fourth one is relaxation of stress in steel. Relaxation of stress in steel. And the fifth one is the loss due to anchorage slip. And the final one is the friction, that is frictional loss, that is loss due to friction. So these are the 6 types of the losses. One is elastic shortening, and second one creep of the concrete, and third one is the shrinkage of concrete, and fourth one is relaxation, fifth one loss due to anchorage slip, and finally the friction. So these are the types of the losses which are occurred in the pre-stress. Okay, so and moreover that it is important to know that we have two types of pre-stress that we already known in the first chapter. That is, one is pre-tension and post-tension. Okay, so here we are categorized into these losses in each pre-stress, that is in pre-tension, in post-tension. In pre-tension we have 4 losses, that is the starting one. That is first one, elastic shortening. It is common in the post-tension method. And second one is the creep of concrete. It is also same, or it is also occurred in the post-tension method. Third one is the shrinkage. It is also occurred in the post-tension method. And fourth one is the relaxation of stress in steel. It is also occurred in the post tension method. And what about rest of those two? That is anchorage slip and friction. That will not be take place in. Please students remember that relaxation of anchorage slip and the friction will not be take place in pre-tension method. That is only in the post tension method, because I will tell you. So that is anchorage slip and finally the friction. So totally we have 6 losses in post tension and 4 losses in pre-tension. Okay, so elastic shortening, that is take place in pre-tension, next creep of concrete, next shrinkage of concrete, and relaxation of stress in steel, that will take place in pre-tension, but in the post tension we have 6 losses like elastic shortening, creep, shrinkage, and relaxation of stress in steel, and anchorage slip, and finally we have the friction loss. Okay, so these are the 6 losses which will be occurred in the two cases, or in the two conditions like pre-tension and post-tension. And the very important thing are, the one of the main concept in this post-tension method is elastic shortening. In the post-tension it will be take place, but there will be no loss due to elastic deformation if all the wires are simultaneously tensioned. If the wires are successively tensioned in the stages, there will be a loss of pre-stress due to the elastic deformation of the concrete. Okay, so here the very important thing you can remember this here. So elastic shortening is take place in the post tension method when we are going to apply the force to the steel individually. Okay, but if you are applied the force, that is the simultaneously, so then this elastic shortening will not be take place in the post tension method. That you have to remember, because in the problem itself they are mentioning that it is successively tensioned, or it may be a stage by stage, that is a one by one the process will be take place, that is the applying of the force will be take place. Okay, so this is about the basic introduction about the losses of pre-stress. Now we have to take the each individual loss, how it take place, and how to calculate the each loss, that is each 6 losses. Okay, so first we should take, the first one is elastic shortening. Elastic shortening or elastic deformation, both are same. Okay, so the initial pre-stress is achieved by pulling the cable in the pre-stress by the steel by using the jack system. When this same force is transferred into the concrete element elastically deforms and there will be a strain in the concrete that affects to the applied the elongation in the steel and reducing the pre-stressing force to the PE. That means, so what we are going to apply the force, initial force is PI. Okay, so because if you have taken any structure of the pre-stress element, we are placing the steel. Okay, for that steel we are going to apply the force. Okay, for that steel the force is applied. Okay, so finally it is transferred to the concrete. So in the concrete the deformation will take place, that deformation which acts on the steel. Okay, that is which acts on the cable, that cable deforms, or due to that there will be a loss of elastic shortening of the concrete. Okay, so finally initially we are applied PI force, that is initial pre-stressing force, so finally it is converted into a effective pre-stressing force. That means if you are applied 100 kilonewton force, but finally it is converted to a 80 kilonewton force. That means here 20 kilonewton force is reduced. Why? Because of the elastic shortening. This is about the elastic shortening. And one more thing that we can remember that, so in the post tension method it is also a one of the loss, but when it is take place, when we are going to apply the force, or when you are going to apply the stress to the steel in individually. That means if you are placed a 4 number of the steel, 4 number of steel, suppose I applied the force individually not simultaneously. At that moment, we have a elastic shortening in the post-tension method. Suppose if you are applying the force to the all the force steel continuously, okay, so then there will be no loss of pre-stress, that is due to the elastic shortening. Okay, and the formula or to calculate the loss of pre-stress due to the elastic shortening is E into, sorry, that is M into Fc. This is the formula used to calculate the loss of elastic shortening. Okay, where M is the modular ratio and Fc is the stress in concrete at the level of steel. That means where the steel is there. Okay, this is the position of the steel. In this position, what the stress is there, that is indicated by Fc. And we know that M means modular ratio. What is the meaning of modular ratio? The modular ratio which indicates or which defines, that is the Young's modulus of the steel, that is the ratio of Young's modulus of the steel to the Young's modulus of the concrete, which defines a modular ratio. And Fc means that is the stress in the steel at the steel at the level of the steel. Okay, so stress in concrete at the level of the steel, that indicates the Fc. Okay, and here Es is equal to, that is Young's modulus of steel. Already you know that value is 2 into 10 raised to 5 Newton per millimeter square, or 2.1 into 10 raised to 5 Newton per millimeter square, and EC, that is Young's modulus of the concrete, is 5700 into square root of FCK. Okay, so where EC is equal to 5700 into square root of FCK, that indicates the value of Young's modulus of the concrete, and ES means the Young's modulus of the steel, and that value will be 2.1 or 2 into 10 raised to 5 Newton per millimeter square. So this is about the elastic shortening. And one more thing, that calculation of Fc, that Fc is calculated by P by A plus P into E divided by I into E1. Okay, so this equation you already know, because in the analysis of the pre-stress we are taken that the first is average compressive stress, that should be calculated by using the formula P by A, and second one is, that is the loss due to, sorry, that is bending stress, that is due to the elastic shortening, and the elastic shortening, and also due to the Young's modulus of the steel. Okay, so that should be calculated by this equation P by A plus P into E divided by I into E1. Okay, so where P is the pre-stressing force and EA is the area of the concrete, that is the area of the section. Okay, and P is the same force and E is the eccentricity and I is the moment of inertia, and E1 is the same, that is Young's modulus of the, sorry, that is eccentricity of the cable. So by using this equation we can calculate the Fc, and by using this equation we can calculate this M, that is modular ratio Es by Ec. Okay, so this is all about the elastic shortening loss, that is loss due to elastic shortening. So next, second one is, that is creep of concrete. So already we know that the creep, because in the fourth semester you already studied in the concrete technology subject, the creep of concrete. So the creep means it is a permanent deformation in the concrete. The deformation in the concrete which take place permanently, that indicates a creep. Okay, and here in this loss of concrete, that is a creep of concrete, in the losses of pre-stress we have two methods another. Okay, so that is creep coefficient and one more one is ultimate creep strain method. Okay, so first one is creep coefficient method and second one is ultimate creep strain method. So these are the two methods which we are going to use to calculate the loss of pre-stress due to the creep of concrete. And now, so first I'm going to take the calculation of creep of concrete, that is creep coefficient method. So this creep coefficient method should be calculated by using m into phi into fc. So where m is the same, that is modular ratio, where phi is the creep coefficient value and fc is the stress in concrete at the level of steel. Okay. Next, where m is calculated by using es by ec and fc is calculated by p by a plus p into e divided by I into e1, and phi is calculated by r, that should be given in the problem itself, that is creep coefficient value. Okay, otherwise we have a code book, in that code book it is given that the value of creep coefficient, okay, that is the phi. And second one, ultimate creep strain method. Okay, this should be calculated by using the formula epsilon cc into es into fc, where epsilon cc is the ultimate creep strain, okay, and es is the Young's modulus of the steel and fc is the stress in concrete at the level of steel. Okay, these two will be known because ES is Young's modulus of steel, its value is 2.1 into 10 raised to 5, and FC is the stress in concrete at the level of steel. Okay, but epsilon cc, that is the ultimate creep strain value, that value should be calculated by using that this epsilon cc should be calculated or should be given in the problem itself. Okay, if they are given, then the no need to calculate, but if they are not given, then we should take the code book, and in the code book this epsilon cc value will be there. Okay, in the next classes, in the coming classes, I will show you where the epsilon cc is there, where the coefficient that is creep coefficient value, that phi value will be there, I will show you. Okay, so this is all about the creep of concrete. Next one is, that is the loss due to the shrinkage of concrete. Shrinkage of concrete. So shrinkage of concrete, that is loss due to shrinkage, is calculated by using the formula, that is epsilon cs into es. And as we know that shrinkage means it is the loss of moisture content. Okay, loss of water content should be take place in the concrete. So at that moment, what is going to happen? The concrete or the material will going to shrink. That is, the volume will changes, volume will reduces. Okay, so due to the loss of moisture, the area, the volume will be reduces. Okay, that phenomena is known as a shrinkage of concrete. And here the loss of shrinkage of concrete should be calculated by using this formula epsilon cs into es. Okay, here epsilon cs should be calculated, epsilon cs should be calculated by 0.003 for pre-tension and for post-tension its value is 0.002 divided by log 10 into T plus 2. Okay, where T is the age of concrete. That is 28 or 30 days. We can assume that, and we can take that T value should be equal to 28 days or 30 days. That is, this is the age of the concrete. Okay, so already you know this value. Okay, and this is for post-tension method. And here you know that is 2 into 10 raised to 5 or 2.1 into 10 raised to 5. So epsilon cs is only the unknown here. So that's why this should be calculated. Epsilon cs is equal to 0.003 for pre-tension method, and for post-tension method its value is 0.002 divided by log 10 into T plus 2. Suppose if they are not given in the problem, so then we should take, that is epsilon cs value should be equal to 0.003 if it is a pre-tension member. If it is a post-tension member, its value should be 0.0002 divided by log 10 into T plus 2. So this is about the shrinkage of concrete. Next come to the fourth one, that is relaxation of stress in steel. Okay, so this is defined as the change in stress in the steel under constant strain. That means there will be a change in stress in the steel at a constant strain. So we know that the difference between stress and strain. Stress means that is the force per unit area. Strain means change in length to the original length. Okay, so here what is going to happen here? In the relaxation of stress in steel, the change of stress in the steel. That means the stress will be changes. Okay, but in the steel under a constant strain is same, strain is constant, but still there will be changes or there will be a difference in the stress. Okay, so that is the meaning of this relaxation of steel. The relaxation of stress in steel is defined as the change in the stress in the steel under a constant strain is constant, will not be changes. Okay, so it will be constant, but still there will be changes in the stress, so then it indicates that is the relaxation of stress in steel. This phenomena will be take place in the steel itself. Okay, and this should be calculated is equal to loss of pre-stress. That is initial pre-stress. So that is percentage of PI. PI indicates initial pre-stress, that is percentage of pre-stress or percentage of initial pre-stress. The loss of stress due to the relaxation of stress is equal to percentage of initial pre-stress, that equal to percentage of PI. Okay, so this is about the relaxation of stress in steel, and the fifth one is that is anchorage slip. Okay, this anchorage slip loss is calculated by using the formula that is delta into ES divided by L. In the case of post-tensioned elements, the cables are anchored on the structural elements through the external anchorages. While anchoring the cables, there is a possibility of slip of the cable with respect to the anchorage, thereby reducing the already the given elongation by the pre-stress. This means there will be loss of the pre-stressing force caused by the that is anchorage slip. The meaning of that is when you are going to apply force to the steel. Okay, so here we are applying force to the steel, but due to the various causes. Okay, so here we know that the anchorage should be here because the anchors are the holding devices to hold the steel in that same position, in the position. So we are going to fixing the anchorages. If suppose those anchorages will be slipped due to the various causes, at that moment there will be a reduction of the loss of the precious force. There is a reduction of the force will be take place. There is a loss of precious will be take place. Okay, that loss is called as a anchorage slip. This is common. The loss will be take place in this process, and thus that loss should be calculated by using delta into ES divided by L, where delta is the amount of anchorage slip and ES you know that is Young's modulus of the steel, and L means the span, that is the length of the beam, the span of the beam. Okay, delta means amount of the anchorage slip, how much it is take place. Okay, this value will also given in the problem itself. Okay, and ES is Young's modulus of the steel, and L means the span or the length of the beam or the structure. Okay, so this is about the anchorage slip, and finally we are going to take the last loss of the stress is the friction. Frictional loss. This is very important one. See, during the pulling, if the force P is applied at one end, P is not felt uniformly along through the full length of the cable because of certain force loss or overcoming the frictional effects between the cable duct and the element themselves. Because in the post tension, we know that if this is a structure and this is the duct what we are placed for to. Okay, so this is the duct. Okay, in between the duct we are going to place the steel, that we know. Okay, and this space is filled by the cement slurry or the admixtures. Okay, so this gap is not filled properly. This gap is not filled properly, or the frictional effects between the cable and the duct. Okay, so this is the steel and this is the duct. If the friction will be take place in between the this duct and the steel, okay, so then it indicates a frictional loss. Okay, and as we know that the friction loss and anchorage slip loss will be take place in the post tension method, not in the pre-tension method. Please remember that in the pre-tension method only we have a 4 losses, and in the post tension method we have a 6 losses. Okay, and now come to the frictional loss that we know. So how to take place, that is the loss will be take place in between the duct and also the steel cable. Okay, the friction will be take place between the cable and the duct, then it is known as a frictional loss, and this will be calculated by using the formula that is pi into mu into alpha plus k into x. So where pi is the initial pre-stress, and where mu is the coefficient of friction, and where alpha is the cumulative angle, and where x is the distance from tensioning end, and that k is the wave effect or wobbling effect. Okay, so Pi is the initial pre-stress, mu is the coefficient of friction, and alpha is the cumulative angle, and x is the distance from the tension end, and where k is the wave effect or wobbling effect. Okay, so using these values, these parameters, we should calculate the frictional loss, that is Pi into mu into alpha plus k into x. And one more thing here, in this frictional loss, we have a two conditions. Okay, so one is when the jacking is done from one end. Okay, suppose the cable is parabolic one. Okay, we are using the jack from one end to hold the steel. Okay, so this is the first case. Okay, so when the jacking is done from one end, when the jacking is done from one end, so we should follow this values, or we should follow this formula. The formula is same, that is Pi into mu into alpha into plus alpha plus k into x. This is the formula used to calculate the losses of pre-stress due to friction. But what is the value of this PA? PA should be given in the problem itself. Okay, suppose if they are not given, suppose if they are given the P value, that is pre-stressing force, and this A value, okay, so then it is possible to calculate the PI, because PI means initial pressure, that is stress. How to calculate the stress? That is load by area. Okay, and mu is the coefficient of friction, that value should be given in the problem itself, and mu is the cumulative angle that will be produced due to this jacking. Okay, so this is angle, this is the cumulative angle that will be produced due to the jacking end. Okay, and next one is the x, the distance from the tension end. This is tension end. Okay, up to this. Okay, so what we are having, the distance is called as a, that distance from the tension end, that value should be indicated as x, and k is wave effect or wobbling effect, that value should be given in the problem. Okay, so now if the case is jacking is done from one end, then x should be calculated, x is equal to L. Okay, then what is the meaning of that? X means it is value equal to span of the beam or span of the structure, and alpha is equal to slope by slope into 2, that is 2 theta. Okay, so this is theta and this is theta and this is called as alpha. This is theta. Okay, this theta is a cumulative angle which is produced due to the pre-stressing force, and this alpha is cumulative angle which is produced due to the tangent which is transferred through the cable. Okay, so that should be calculated. X is equal to L and alpha is equal to 2 into theta, and theta should be calculated. That should be calculated in the problem itself. Okay, so this is how about the first condition. Okay, when jacking is done from one end. When jacking is done from both ends, that means we are using the jack at both ends. If this is a condition, okay, so the formula will be same, but the value of this x and this alpha will be changes. That is, x is equal to L by 2, okay, and slope is equal to, that is, alpha is equal to slope, that is, alpha is equal to theta. X is equal to L by 2 and alpha is equal to theta. So this is the formula used to calculate the x and alpha, that is cumulative angle and the distance from the tensioning end. K value, that is effect of wobbling effect or the wobbling effect, that will be given in the problem, and Pi that should be calculated or that should be also given in the problem, and mu is that coefficient of friction will be given in the problem. So this is all about the different types of the losses which is occurred in the our pre-stress. Okay, so totally we have 6 losses. 4 loss will be take place in pre-tension method and 6 loss will be take place in the post-tension method. Okay, so please remember this. So now, so we can directly go to the problem. First problem. Okay, the problem is a pre-tensioned beam is 10 meter long and the sectional details are 300 by 400 mm. Okay, it is a pre-tension member. The problem is it is a pre-tension member, because I told that please remember. So please you read the problem carefully, whether it is a pre-tension member or whether it is a post-tension member. Okay, so directly they are given as in this problem, that is it is a pre-tension beam and its length is 10 meter. Okay, and the sectional details are, the beam section detail is 300 by 400 mm. Okay, width is 300 and the depth is 400 mm. And is the section is pre-stressed between the concentric steel wire of the total area of the cross section is 750 millimeter square. That 750 millimeter square is the area of the steel, because see that pre-stressed between the concentric steel wire of the total area of the cross section is 750 millimeter square. That is area of the steel that is given. And initial stress in the steel is 1000 Newton per millimeter square. And find the percentage loss of pre-stress due to the first one is elastic shortening and second one creep. So the first one is elastic shortening and second one is the creep. Okay, so that is creep of the concrete after 2 years. and they are given some values that EC is equal to 0.3 into 10 raised to 5 Newton per millimeter square, and EST is 2 into 10 raised to 5 Newton per millimeter square. So directly they are given the this ES and EC values, and also they are given that the creep coefficient, okay, that is 2.5 cc, that is 5 value they are given. Okay, so here they are given creep coefficient value, that is cc, okay, 2.5 creep coefficient value, and ES and EC values are given, and also they are given initial pre-stress and area of steel and area of the cross section and length of the section, and also they are mentioned that it is a pre-tensioned member. This is the problem. Okay, so by using all these data, what we have to calculate? We have to calculate the percentage of loss of pre-stress. So first, please see that they are given the stress value, they are not given the force value. So please note down this. Okay, so first, which loss we have to calculate? Loss due to elastic shortening, that is loss due to elastic shortening is equal to, what is the formula? M into Fc. This is the formula used to calculate the elastic shortening, where M is ES by EC. So ES is given directly 2 into 10 raised to 5, and EC is given 0.3 into 10 raised to 5. This 10 raised to 5 bit cancels. So remaining value is 6.67. Okay, so 2 by 0.3 is 6.67. So by this we got the value of M. Now Fc, how to calculate Fc? P by A plus P into E divided by I into E1. Okay, and now we have to see that P is the pre-stressing force, and A is the area of the cross section, and E is the eccentricity, and I is the moment of inertia. So this should be calculated because we know the stress value, okay, and we know the area. If you know the area, if you know the stress, okay, so then it is possible to calculate the P value, that is the force value. But here the thing is that eccentricity. Okay, so how to take the eccentricity? As we know that eccentricity means the distance. Okay, I am going to use this space to write the diagram, cross sectional detail. Cross section is 300 by 400 mm. Okay, this is a cross section. Okay, so please read that. In a section is pre-stressed between a concentric steel. Concentric steel means the steel which is not placed at the eccentric position. Eccentric means it is far away from the center. Concentric means at the center, exactly at the center the steel or the cable is placed. Okay, for that steel they are applied some force to this area of the steel. Okay, by that we got the stress value, that is PA. Initial stress is 1000 Newton per millimeter square. This value they are given. Understood that? This is not a force value, this is the stress value. Okay, by using this stress value we want to calculate the force value. How to calculate this? PA is equal to, that is stress is equal to, by general formula, P is by A. P means it is a pre-stressing force and A means area of the stress, area of the cross section. Okay. Now, first you should calculate the FC, that is P by A plus P into E by I into E1. Okay. Now, first you calculate the stress value, force value. See, PI is 1000 millimeter square is Newton per millimeter square is the stress value, and P, this is unknown, this we want to calculate, and A, this is very important thing. So don't take the value of the cross section 300 by 400 mm. So what is this value? This should be equal to 750 millimeter square. That means we are applying, where we are going to apply the force? To the steel, not for the cross section. Okay, so that's why always we should take the area of the steel, not area of the cross section, to calculate this value. So if you calculate this, that is 1000 into 750, that is 750 kilonewton is the force what we are applying to the steel at concentric position, not at the eccentric position. Okay, now so substitute all these values in this A. Okay, so what is A here? Here A means that is the area of the cross section plus same 750 into 10 raised to 3 divided by I, moment of inertia. Okay, so 400 plus 750 into 10 raised to 3, and what is the eccentricity value? That is important thing. So I told that the steel is placed at concentric position. Concentric means what is the E value? It should be equal to 0, because if they are placed at eccentric position, then this value E value should be something. Okay, but they are placed at the steel at concentric position, hence this E value should be equal to 0, then this all value should be 0, because this total term will be 0, because this value is 0. So finally calculate this value 750 by 750 into 10 raised to 3 divided by 300 by 400. So what we are getting, 6.25 Newton per millimeter square. That is the stress value. So now we got the value of M and Fc. Okay. Now you substitute in these values in this equation, because we have to calculate the loss due to elastic shortening. What is the M value? 6.67 into 6.25 is the Fc value. So you can get as 41.68 Newton per millimeter square is the stress. That is the loss of stress, 41.68. So how much stress we are applied? 1000 Newton per millimeter square. So, but the total 1000 Newton per millimeter square will not be take place in this structure. Okay, because due to the elastic shortening only, we have a loss of 41.68 Newton per millimeter square loss. Okay, so this is about the first one, elastic shortening. Next, second one is creep, that is loss due to creep. Okay, as we know that we have two methods in creep. One is creep coefficient method and creep ultimate method. Okay, so but which method we should use, that we have to consider. Okay, so here in the problem itself they are given that CC, that is creep coefficient value. That's why we should use the creep coefficient method. That is, what is the creep coefficient method formula? M into 5 into Fc. So M you are already calculated. What is the value of M? 6.67 into what is the 5 value? It is given as 2.5, and Fc we are calculated, that value is 6.25. So finally we are getting 104.21 Newton per millimeter square. So now finally we are calculated both the losses, that is loss due to elastic shortening and loss due to creep. So, but what we actually we want to calculate? We want to calculate the percentage loss. Okay. So percentage loss. If you want to calculate percentage loss, we should require the total loss first. Total loss is, that is 41.68 plus 104.2. That is loss due to elastic shortening and loss due to creep. So its value is 145.6 Newton per millimeter square. Okay, so finally percentage loss is equal to the total loss divided by initial stress into 100. Okay, what is the total loss? Your total loss is 145.96 divided by 1000 is the total stress into 100. Okay, these will get cancels. So how much it is? 14.59 percentage. So how much we got? 14.59 percentage of the loss of the pre-stress occurred in the given structure or in the given problem. So this is the way to calculate the different types of the losses. Okay. So like this we have so many other problems. Okay, that problems I will take in the next class. Okay, so now just understand this. So in the losses of pre-stress we have 6 losses totally. In the 6 losses again it is divided into 2 categories, that is in the pre-tension we have 4 losses and in the post-tension we have 6 losses. Okay, and we have a different formulas to calculate the each loss, that is loss due to elastic shortening. We have a formula: loss due to creep, loss due to shrinkage, loss due to relaxation of stress in steel, and next one loss due to friction, loss due to anchor slip. Okay, so for each loss we have a formula. Use this formula and calculate the each loss. So that is the way to calculate the losses of pre-stress. Okay, so this type of problem will be given in the exam. Okay, so please just remember this formula and how to use these values to in the formula. Okay, that you should be known. Okay, so if any doubts are there, you just ask me. Okay, no problem. Thank you.